chocolate toast crunch, and cookies. And shuffles. Chocolate toast crunch, and cookies. And shuffles. Chocolate toast crunch, and cookies. And shuffles. Chocolate toast crunch, and cookies.
It's just all over the air. You know, it's thick, so it stays in the air. Hey, blue shirt, blue shirt, blue shirt, right here, shirt, right here on the roof. Blue shirt, blue hat, blue shirt, blue hat.
Back up. Keep going, buddy. Keep going. Where's your credentials? Let's see your credentials. Who do you work for? I can't see them. I can't read them. Use the shit. Keep going. You can't read them. He's credentialed me. I don't care. Nothing.
Yeah.
Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. We're interfering with the arrest. Back up. Back up. Keep going. I'm giving him all your stuff, all right? Where's your credentials? Let's see your credentials.
So,
Who do you work
what's his charge? I guess
it's going to be a curfew violation.
Curfew
Use the
violation.
shit. You can't
Okay, can I come talk to you?
Okay.
It's cool to talk to you.
As soon as we get him.
Sure. Cool. I'll just stand over here. What is he being charged with, sir? Yeah.
Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. We're interfering with the arrest. Back up. Back up. Keep going. I'm giving him all your stuff, all right? Where's your credentials? Let's see your credentials.
So,
Who do you work
what's his
for?
charge? I guess
It's going to be a curfew violation.
Curfew
Use the
violation.
shit.
Okay, can I come talk to you? Okay.
Are we ready? Do you see the headline that I have up there? It is Militia Week, but I gotta tell you, when they say that a projectile hit that Amtrak train, and it isn't a, this is NBC10.com, right? But that's not the only one. Look at this. FBI warns of train derailment threat May 8th. You see that? Maybe just two more reasons that we should have a militia. Eh? What do you think? That's what I think, so let's get started. I'm gonna show you guys this video of some really serious militia members, because I think it's important that we start the tone right, and then I'll play a song and we'll get going. But first, it's important that we understand our militia. They are a serious group of people, and they mean business. So this is how they prep for one of the field training exercises. Alright, you ready?
Chocolate toast crunch and cookies. And shuffles.
You see what I'm saying? These guys are to be taken seriously, and those are that video is for the folks. Yeah, those are militia members. Maybe not all of them, but I think at least two of them. And there's also some. We didn't talk about this yesterday. There's an impression of militiamen. All of them are veterans, which isn't true, and they are soldiers 24/7 every day of the week, non-stop soldiers. That's also not true. Again, another example of how people are people, and some of us have a niche in a different place. And there you go, right? So I'll leave that up, or I'll get that back up, just so you guys can. I know, you were preparing for something else, weren't you? You are welcome. All right, let's get going here.
Both tell you what, life can be hard, but you just gotta push through.
Sometimes just let it go. Plant seeds in your mind, water it with rhymes and let it grow. Attack with actions, words only worth half, and that's the exact fraction. Life's more massive than anyone's ask, but actors act like it's only their path until they're blasted. Lessons are experience reflected through your lenses. Perception bends presence, connections, and attention causes tension. Respect connects unless it gets no reflection. Who's the boss, but who's on top? It's tossed off, the logic is crossed, twisted. Significantly, people can't see the cause. Consider the visions of gods, divinity, the Trinity, and consider other religions. Even heathenistic decisions that offer different visions. Educate, levitate, to calculate the odds. Condition your position before you get lost. It's the SNS crew, Democrats be the squad. S to the K, H, Y to the J, E, D, I. Cause we stay high so flying, you know it. Cause I'm a poet glowing like the sun, so bright a show and flowing like the night is done. Patrolling, taking control of the lyrical solar. Speaking vocal frequencies, spoken like my spit was sonar. Beheading like a ninja, revving in just like a Mopar. My baby cast is over, she inspired us to go far. I don't do it for the dubs, I do it for the love. And I don't do it for the clubs, shape shifting fake plugs. I'm just playing what you hand me. You can turn the other way and fall back on that plan B. That's all fine and dandy, we the SNS
S&S crew. We wickedly spitting written encryptions for submissions that we can see through. So while you switching your positions and giving up on your conditions, yo, we can see you. I'm a suburban hip-hop caper, rip your tip top like it's paper. Take your mixtape and I rape her, so stop waiting, play a hater. What you gon' do? I'm sick of this child's play. All this shit is complaining, straining on my vocal cords like I broke the open door. Burning bridges to the core, cord and visions, my reward. My incisions make it sore, then we pass it off and we explore.
Tune into the movement to view the conclusion. S&S crew improvement congruent with the cruelest, no fooling. Leave your medulla oblongata drooling, feeling foolish like a broken tool, you can't use it. Screw loose, no moving, drilling it out, dremel useless. Smooth away the pain and bruises with Bruce from rulers. Teachers and students, lawyers and movers, construction workers and drillers do what we need to do for the moolah. To use our computers, television, cell phones, and to fuel us. Funerals concluded, included with tulips. The cost of life really can't be computed from loot. But ladders and hoops, compounding fractals and loops, created to sedate to separate us from the natural. It's a plan devised tactical. We need to break and cut loose from this noose, it's not practical.
Man, that makes me wanna slap a hoe.
But I won't let you. Or maybe you're under pressure, but I'm more like a professor giving lectures, always learning. Some people build bridges and some people start burning. Start learning and turn it around and change your life. Cause maybe you will end up having only strife and pain. It's not the same as it used to be. Some people try to take the game away from you ruthlessly. It's not the same, it's strange, and it maintains on a different plane. Man, it just fucks with my brain.
Twisted, subliminal, paranormal, mortal phrases. Uplifted, formally, courteously, I'm enormously racist. Vicious, the gifted one, malicious. With a flip of the tongue, test the S to the S to meet the hit. With a stick of a bitch, just run.
Why we gotta live our lives this way? Why we gotta live our lives this way? Maybe one day we can push pain away. Why we gotta go and live our lives this way?
That's right. Thank you. Why do we gotta go and live our lives this way? Thank you, S&S crew. If you look at the Patriot Newswire article here, this says the feds raid gun manufacturer in Sleepy American town. Well, this happened in Ohio. It happened to a friend of mine, and he was one of the people that was working there. And it wasn't the feds, it was the U.S. Army, and it was somebody through the Department of Defense, along with their local police standing outside. So this is where the story begins. We're going to have him on the show. I'm not going to say his name, but he worked there, was there when it was raided, and then got fired afterwards, him and just one other person, and they were the only two activists that worked there, and they also work with Militia. So there's more to this story, and he'll be a guest on the show. Man, I've been lining up some guests. It's kind of cool. And you guys will be interested to hear all of this, because I've only really told you a tip of the iceberg, and this goes in a direction that you're not going to anticipate. So be looking for that. Bam. All right, cool. So I had talked about the story of Concord yesterday, and it kind of led us into talking about women, revolutionary women, right? Deborah Sampson is a revolutionary woman, and I spoke to somebody today with that surname, Deborah Sampson, and that's just one example of many of the thousands of strong women that it took for us to be able to get this country the first time. Now, historically, this is interesting. There has never been a republic lost and then regained. It's never happened. Look it up. Google age. Look it up. It's not happened. Once the republic is lost, it's never been regained. It's always, gone into something else. And there may be versions, that it has parts that look like the old republic, but no, it's never happened historically. So we can't forget that. At the same time, we also have to think that this country is used to doing things that have never been done before. That's what we do. That's why we were known as the country of innovation. So I believe we can do that. You know, we've rewritten history so many times. It'll be our time to do it again. And it's going to take revolutionary women, right? All of this being pitted against one another, putting us in competition with one another, it's ridiculous. We are the perfect complement to one another, where you can, if you think about it this way, okay? If you picture the planet covered in only female species, you figure the planet will probably last about 4.5 minutes. If the planet was covered in nothing but the male species, we'd last about 1 minute and 20 seconds. So there's no way that you can really have one without the other. It is balance. It is the perfect complement. So we've been taught through ridiculous ass shows like Everybody Loves Raymond and all this, where you have really domineering women and really soft dudes. And people try to emulate that, where, you know, you have this bitchy woman trying to walk all over people. It's one of the methods used to affect people in society, because then they try to emulate what they believe is reality. Now, to a lot of people, that doesn't sound sound. Unfortunately, dealing in reality, you know people that you can point to that want to be a Kardashian, that cut their hair. We can go through the Time Life magazines that show how famous women would cut their hair a certain way, and then all of a sudden you'd see all these other women with their hair that way. You know, look, it's trend setting, right? It's trailblazing. So it exists and it's real, and people do try to emulate the things that are in front of them. The things they're absorbing and experiencing, whether it's on a conscious or subconscious level. So women have clout and power. They are able to affect complete and utter change in society, right? And going through the historical examples could mean something to someone. I would rather look at how it is this applied directly, right? What are the facts that say these events took place? You know, that we can give credence to the misogynists or the anti-misogynists in our society that say, you know, without women we wouldn't have gotten the country, right? So let's do that, and then let's talk about how that applies to today and where we are. The many different forms of communication that were used for us to get the country included invisible ink that was used. It was made sometimes with urine, ink that you could see, but it was written in code form. It was encrypted. There was symbolism. They would write an entire letter, but because there was a symbol on the top left, you would know to change certain things in the letter or take out certain things so that you got a different message. If you read it outright, it was a complete message, but it was the wrong message. So all the way from those types of things, little subtle things in writing and communication, to the women that put the clothes on the clothesline that signified the British were coming, that put the clothes on the clothesline that said the meeting is tonight. It signified all kinds of communication to everybody in the underground. If a man went out there and tried to put clothes on the line, the British are like walking by, like sitting on their horses, you know, and chilling, just going by, and some dude's out there like, oh shit, and he puts a bunch of stuff on the line. Or even if he tried to do it in a calm way, they're going to be like, why is that dude putting clothes on the clothesline? That's sketchy, and would have been a reason to talk to him. So you don't draw attention when you have a woman. Now, high pressure sales school will tell you there's no better salesperson than a woman. It doesn't exist. In tandem with that, the best spies out of every spy agencies have always been women. That's why you haven't heard about them. It's typically the men that get busted. Now, there have been CIA operatives that have been outed that have been both women and men. But the best we don't hear about, and most of them are women. Women are able to infiltrate, you know. They're able to schmooze guys, you know, and steal information, all these things. And this is documented as happening. It had to do with, I wish I could remember their names. I'm not able to, but yeah, he was a upper level dude in their military. we had a woman in there that befriended him, and next thing you know, she was getting all kinds of information, you know, and relaying it back. So we knew when strikes were coming. We knew when military maneuvers against us were being made, things like this. All of this because of women. Because women were in the high-pressure situations, knowing that they are the enemy, but having to stand in the room and be friendly, you know? Men typically are the brutes. We're the ones that, you know, kill you. That's what we do most of the time. The really highly trained spies, man or woman, can kill you. Like you know, some ninja stuff. Jason Bourne type things. Women, and I want everybody to kind of sit back and listen to this, okay? Rome had control over present-day Israel and Jerusalem, and a lot more of the landscape in the Mideast. Their major religion for a couple thousand years they were ISIS worshippers, okay? Now, where we correlate that to present-day ISIS people lobbing off of heads, whole nother show. But there is a correlation to be drawn, unfortunately. Isis is a female goddess. She is the high priestess, okay? And if that is the religion of the land, do you honestly think that that religion is going to tolerate men preaching the word? No. No. All of your leaders were women. Now, has that been taken out of history? Absolutely. Does it serve a purpose for what we see today? Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. We've tried to treat each other, we've been taught to treat each other as different class citizens, which is by default second class citizens in some kind of a way. And we're pitted against one another by some of the most ridiculous shit you've ever heard in your life. There are people that throw marriage equality, inequality into this. Most people say, if you want to be as miserable as the other married couples, you absolutely have the right. But why would you invite the state into your life? Okay? Because it's a tax status. That's it. They have no business in who I love. None. At all. A lot of people don't like hearing that because you're going to mess up their money, and they cling to what is destroying all of us desperately, and they'll defend it. Who here knows that the American Red Cross was started by a woman? Her name was Clara Barton. Who here knows about all of the achievements from all of the women, whether they were inventors, literary artists, painters, incredible guitarists that taught their sons with the last name Van Zandt? Who here knows these things? Or does somebody believe that this information has been suppressed? Is there anybody that in 2015 honestly believes that there really is such a level of imbalance or inequality between men and women that one sex should be treated differently? Listen, if you are one of those Neanderthal cavemen, and you were able to get the computer to work, congratulations. Keep listening. You'll learn something by the end of the show today, I promise. So, for those that have evolved and moved on, the understanding that strong women and a strong woman's voice is spoken about all through history, and I want to correlate this to present-day sports figures, right? Ray Lewis for Baltimore. He's going out in Baltimore telling people, don't riot. Things like this. He'll also tell you that much like that woman that was on TV whooping the shit out of her son who was trying to riot, he's like, yeah, that would have been my mom. She would have whooped my ass all the way home. And then while I was home. And then when I tried to go to bed, yeah. I mean, this revolution, us getting our country back, is an absolute impossibility without the incorporation of women. It won't happen. It will not happen. It can't happen. Not the way that it's supposed to. Everybody has a function, and aptitudes are different across the sexes. There are some things that are intrinsically carried by women You know? I don't give a shit who's offended by this. Listen, men are kind of brutish cavemen. We are. That's what we do. We're like, you know? And women, they have a softer side. Without that softness, us men would eat each other. We would fucking kill each other in no time. You know? Where is their place in a militia? Where does a woman belong in a militia versus a man? Okay? I can tell you, they train exactly the same. They feel exactly the same. They believe exactly the same. And they are fighting for exactly the same reasons. You tell me where the difference is. Because I can't find one. When these men and women, when these mothers and fathers all go out for a field training exercise on the weekend, they are doing the exact same things. Period. They all feel the exact same way. They want their country back. Now, some of them might be Republicans, some of them may not have a party affiliation, but they are training together in unison as a unit so that they understand how to defend better all of us. You see what I'm saying? In America, if you're the first woman to do something, you're the first woman to do something. In Russia, if you're the first woman to do something, you're the first person to do something. And a lot of Europe carries itself, or it used to carry itself that way. Some parts still do. We have been divided, and it is ridiculous. It's some of the stupidest shit you've ever heard in your life. It is no more than the other tactics that are used to divide and conquer. That's it. That's it. It doesn't amount to anything else. Think about what happens when we start to empower one another. I spoke to a woman today who is a veteran of the United States Air Force. Okay? First of all, in order to get into the Air Force, your ASVAB has to be pretty freaking decent, man. You gotta be a smart cookie to get into the Air Force. You know, because that's where they do satellite work, intelligence work, you know, recon, mapping, all this. You gotta have a really decent brain to be able to do these things, man. So she has a hard time keeping her mouth shut, seeing all this stupid shit in the military. Finally gets out, she has a kid, and now she's an activist. Working with militia, working with protesters, working with Anonymous, working with everybody. Everybody. She does not care who you are, and it'll be her voice. Well, she's already created a national event. It's for July 3rd. And she wants you to make it wherever you live. You know, now it's your event in your town. You know? It wasn't a man who came up with that event, right? It wasn't a male veteran from the Air Force. This is a smart, strong female that is willing to die for her children, for her countrymen and women. And that is no different from the rest of us. None whatsoever. I got about 6 minutes until I take a break here, but that's the first part of what I wanted to tell you. Like I said, we talked about Concord yesterday, but I want to tell the rest of that story by telling the beginning and set precedents to what led up to that. It's really important because it's a nice patriotic sentiment to tell the story of Concord. You know, when you tell people that they were standing in puddles of cold ice water, you know, and some of them lost toes, you know, a lot of them lost toes. Most lost their lives because of amputation. They were trying to save their lives. The field medicine definitely wasn't good enough, you know. There was a lot more to Concord. There was a lot of things that led up to Concord. Propaganda by illustration via Paul Revere. The Tea Party, the original Tea Party, there are things about that you may not know, you may not be aware of. There are things about that you may not necessarily be proud of. All of these things, and the quartering, you know, that shit doesn't even make sense to us now. We're like, quartering soldiers, you know? Soldiers just show up like, hey, stay in here now, taking your bed, you know? Don't care that you have back problems. I'm gonna go fart in your bed, you know? Now we're like, what in the hell? But no, that was commonplace back then. They would show up and they were like, look, we don't even have time to build a house. It's cold outside right now. I'm staying in your bedroom. You can stay in your living room. That's fine. and I'm going to need something by 7 o'clock in the morning to eat. You know, things like that. So, how were the American colonists living before they decided they were taxed enough already? You know, and then what did the British do when they decided they didn't like the Boston Tea Party? You know, all of this is what led up to Concord. So it's important. And the role that women played at that time, again, it's annoying, but you have to look up alternative history. It's not fucking alternative history, it's history. You know, this is what we had to do, and it's for damn sure what we're going to have to do again, without a doubt. And if you have a misogynist thought in your mind, keep it to yourself, because we have to get our country back. That's priority. You know, we get our country back and we start to reinstitute justice and freedom. Sure, be a dumbass. You have the right and the freedom to be a dumbass, but just hold that shit off for now so we can get our country back. Then you can go right back to dumbassery. You absolutely have that right, and we'll all make fun of you, and we'll move on. So, all right, cool. Let's take a break, and I'll come back. We'll finish the rest of the show. We'll talk about how women affected the rest of the beginning of the revolution and the part that they played. So cool, man. I appreciate you guys being here. My name's Jeremy Dieter, but I like it when you call me diametric opposition. It makes me sound cool. All right, I'll be back in a minute.
This motherfucker stupid think he's stepping to trade crooks. No one did music, the inception of Facebook. Deception's the case, I'm a treacherous waste of space. Step into place and get questioned with strange look. Kids got a loose screw, I'ma just do me so you can just do you. Too confusing but amusing, I shoot through. Diffusing whack rap to the point that I'm poop, dude. But I'm brand new cause I'm a cocky little chicken when I'm flipping the coop. Inducted red ribbon, now I'm living the proof. Specific to loot is what I'm getting when I'm hitting the booth. The on a mission, unforgivable truth. Super like a sleuth when I'm getting the clue. Stupid but I'm looser with the spitting the proof. Hitting the tune, you can call it collision. Shifting with division with the rhythms I move. Clicking with my pen and then it's written with the venom within. Tripping, invented again. Definitive spin upon a classic with a pivotal trend. That means your baby got a booty, but I'm pimping a friend. If hip-hop is beginning, then I'm simply the end. Me and T Smalls, y'all closer than Ken. Poker face with Joker, the inevitable grin. Always win and never have to pretend.
It's almost criminal how these cats act so I can try to smack and attack all physical. It's critical that we as individuals spread truth, got the news, so the news subliminal is pitiful. And we wonder why other motherfuckers see us as suckers perpetuating ridicule. Other countries see us as monkeys, caged in the zoo, throwing boo. Fuck you, I got a bigger stick to hit you with foolish instruments to rip through. Mix a bulldog and a shih tzu, cause it's bullshit what we trying to get through. It's mind-boggling how the richest country can have a struggling economy. Maybe it's an oddity or possibly hypocrisy. Either way, it's not okay in my philosophy. We're a long way from the way things ought to be. We need more camaraderie and possibly we can do it all.
That's right, the best, what you gonna do?
Sketchy and Smalls, no rest of the crew. Ripping and flipping when we wrecking the boat.
Chomp the beat like Mr. Pack. I launch another missile track. The master and commander is a spark, another swisher pack. A monster and I'm back, attacking, conquering. In fact, I'm conjuring tactical goblins. Now I'm hunting project stacks. Hopping them like Crash fucking Bandicoot. But I'm not a bandit, dude. Cooper cannon shoot, damn the loot. I'm here to damage you. Metroid Prime just like I'm Samus. Amateurs get painted like they canvas, and I'll eat you like a sandwich. Maximum the pain, but no games cause I ain't playing. You left for dead just saying I'll be aiming at your cranium. Punch out Tyson swaying, no Iron Man titanium. Breathing fire, man, I'm spiral flying through your home retirement. Riding with contraband like Contra. 18 van filled with ganja, Fantasy Star Saga. Sonic Springs, I'll launch you through some chronic rings of smoke. I gotcha, hops a obstacle to the top, boss imposter. Whether it's Godzilla, Gorilla, or Hitman Killers, my finger is on the trigger, increasing the score ticker. Feather shoes be more quicker, relevant scripture. Stomp the hordes, crunch your 8-bit to a 4 before you're bigger, quicker. Grab some liquor, pixelated, twisted, Mr. My transistor, picture, fist of fury, barely Mr. History is listed, hindered from the missions of a sick where y'all can barely see me like Magoo, you got a shit score. I am top 10 villain, Dr. Robotnik. Spock is on the turntable, shockingly rocking it. Knocking out competitors while you just bust a move. While I'm stacking on these bars like Tetris, flexing, I'm so smooth. You know I'm taking out your Kuso. Ruby Malone, wet him jetted, not a threat to be held with the with chrome, not upsetted. Redemption's red-deaded, indebted, no more credit when the prototype's embedded in your bones. I'm always crafty, minds by that I mean explosives. So it's not a rhyme scheme, borrowed of my motives. Time be reminding me to find the golden tokens. Greedy little me and yes, assassins is my creed. I am the baddest company per rapper, rapping classically. Button mashing, mad and dashing means nobody's catching me. This is where you fight for life like dying light at night. I'm frightful, it's got you stressed, yo, but not as sick as zombie XO. The bigger the vest, but trigger the head, you figure the rest is helpful. Hit with the shiver, the literal killer ability, still with the skills to melt you. So bow down to Zod Haran and thoughts of zombies gone. The herbicide of monocom, the ninjas on the run. Now open up your eyes and see the evil within. Angels and demons and sin, the darkness leaves you condemned. Had enough yet? So fast on the clutch of my overdrive sunset. Master of puppets, not a naughty bear, but it even clears upset. It's the success of a starship trooper, roughneck, back to the future. Loop with suspect number numerals, get fact at base in a 8-bit world. But I got this pixel perfect, gross subliminous with neck, make you 12 monster, I'll roar your dinosaur. So blow another bong and sing along just like you know me, till I pop out of the shadow, cut you short just like Shinobi. Lay the smackdown on your ass until you tapping out, jabroni. Ain't no phony, always game at home. I make come Mr. Lonely. Pack a Tecmo Bowl, now Ralph a Rackabo. Dismount you skepticals, I'll joust you off your ostrich. I'm just awesome, I'm impeccable. Except I've lost my set of bolts. The crest from Zelda Centerfold in the case of Elder Scrolls. Go ahead and raise the black flag like you able, or go back and take the right path like Fable. This nuisance revolutionist is about to turn the table, so don't mess with weed like Nintendo, I'll have to cut the cable. Step back or get hacked into a dark sector. Twisted metal, shoot a missile through a wall. Spectre, I got my word and I'm made of balls. Vector, every console I'm an achievement collector.
Yeah, man, I was talking to SNS crew. That's the music you're hearing there during the break, and they were making fun of themselves. I'll have them on the show again too. So this video right here, real quick, if you ever wondered about quotas, right? They have to give out so many tickets. Well, this cop doesn't think that there is any, but check out what he says.
Do you have a quota?
No.
No quota?
No quota.
Do you have a level of tickets that you have to write?
Not necessarily that we have to write, but if we don't write them, basically, we were told the last couple meetings, that if you don't write these traffic tickets, you won't have a job.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's play that one more time.
Do you have a quota?
No.
No quota?
No quota.
Do you have a level of tickets that you have to write?
Not necessarily that we have to write, but if we don't write them, basically, we were told the last couple meetings, that if you don't write these traffic tickets, you won't have a job.
Mr. Chubby Cop there says that, and he thinks it's funny. He thinks it's freaking fantastic, obviously. He's sitting there laughing. Oh, this is freaking, oh yeah, we get to give him tickets. I don't know if he knows what a quota is. You know, now he knows how to pull people over. Apparently he has training with a gun, which is weird. But he does not know the definition of the word quota. It's frightening. It's scary. And I don't like it. But yeah, that's the reality we're dealing in. He's a cop, but he does not know what in the hell a quota is, so that's a good time. One more thing before we get back to the subject at hand. You know, we try to bring you guys the news. I showed you some of the mainstream, which I typically try to not do, but the train, they had already said the damn thing was going to be derailed, and then they said it had nothing to do with terrorism, and then they said there was a projectile that hit the train, and, you know, whatever. Those people are a bunch of psychopaths, man. They're freaking insane. But check this out. If you guys are familiar with the musical, Tech Nine, he's an artist that is pretty well known. He says a lot of pretty profound things as well. I've put Immortal Technique on here before and tried to, you know, show that to people, but check this out.
Question for the maker, and it's, oh yeah, this the way it's supposed to be, huh?
Good evening, Mr. Yates. It's come to our attention that you gave Anonymous its respect in the lyrics of your recent record, which you've titled, "Oh Yeah," in the introduction of your latest album, Special Effects.
At least Anonymous is hacking for peace.
We personally would like to thank you, on behalf of the entire collective. Over the years we've taken a special notice in your interest to change the world with your positive message to the youth with your music. How would you like to collaborate with Anonymous? With our platform, we can help you to become the worldly angel that you're hoping to be remembered by in human history. We have a very special project that really needs somebody of your skill sets and imagination. Please, if it interests you to take strange music incorporated to the very next level of God status, then contact our staff at this email address as soon as it is convenient for you. We really hope to hear from you and work together to bring liberty and justice for all. Thank you for choosing to stand up for world peace and positivity.
But around here, loving Coco's the bomb. Meanwhile, so many people are taken out by the hands of Boko Haram. Oh yeah! They gotta suffer the penalty because of our education. Nobody wanna say nothing, but I gotta call it abomination. Pissed off, thinking what this cost. What these babies' blood tripping for. So I say in Latin, listen, Lord, Atirito mine. Atirito mine. Only way people are gonna be able to kill up a demon is pick up a gun and be ready to put it between them. A nigga be screaming, Atirito mine. No fear the only way. Every day, flatten the beast. At least Anonymous is hacking for peace.
There you go. At least Anonymous is hacking for peace. I bring up Anonymous to, I'm going to come back around to that. Anonymous and the Militia and their relation. But first, let's get into what set Concord in motion. What made that happen? We had a talented illustrator by the name of Paul Revere. He understood the power of propaganda. He understood, along with the founding fathers, what paper could do. He understood that bringing the floating press in Abraham Lincoln, bringing a source of information to the people to let them know what was happening, what was going to happen, was absolutely instrumental. Now, what he did to be most effective was he lied. He lied. This goes back to the Boston Massacre, which was 3 years before Concord. I know, a lot of people don't know that. I don't think it was 3 years entirely. It was 2 years and some change, but there was a snowball that was thrown at a British officer, right? British officer turns around, they end up shooting a gentleman by the name of Crispus. And the way that Paul Revere illustrated that event was the British soldiers in formation with their guns like this, pointing at a crowd. Now, British soldiers don't get in formation unless they're told to, unless they're ordered to. So it made it look like they were following orders from the British to shoot on American colonists. But let's go back. Okay, let's go back. Boston Tea Party. How many of you know that those were comprised of a lot of people that ended up being Minutemen militia, but what they did was they dressed up. They actually used feathers, chicken feathers, and they used black tar to cover their skin, and they gave themselves feathered mohawks, and they tried to disguise themselves as Mohawk Indians. They ran down the hill, but the thing is a lot of them, everybody knew they were dressing up as Mohawk Indians. They weren't going to get away with this. Everyone knew. It wasn't like they were doing this in private. And they ran down there, ransacked the ships, threw the tea in the harbor, and tea, they said, taxed enough already. And they weren't being represented. They were paying all of this money, but they weren't getting anything in return. Now, we hear about the founding fathers, some of which were in England at the time, and over here, and had relatives over here. commonly what isn't spoken about were the wives of those men and the female relatives of those men and other females in the community that made it possible for the Masons, Eastern Star, the Sons of Jehovah, Brethren, all of them, all of these underground societies, Sons and Daughters of Liberty, all of these underground societies were able to be successful because women were in place as a foundation. See? They were the ones that were relied on to communicate and send the information. Right? So a woman going down to where a market had been set up. British troops were quartering in people's homes at this time. They were complaining about the treatment, right? Well, these weren't just any women. These were the wives of the Minutemen. The Minutemen and Minutewomen were wise enough to understand their position. So the men were in competition with each other, much like they'll teach you in high-pressured sales school. You can't, a man isn't going to be able to sell something to a man as well as a woman selling something to a man. It's fact of nature. Same thing when it comes to this kind of a situation. The British soldiers were quartering in the homes. Well, they weren't going to sit there and say too much in front of the husband, But the women would overhear conversation. They would start to befriend some of these British troops in a very cordial way. Next thing you know, they're hearing little things here and there and telling their husbands, these Masons. And by the way, I have no fucking clue what happened to the Masons. I don't know why these great patriots aren't here now trying to help us get our country back, but whatever. It's a whole nother show for another time. The women were the communication infrastructure. They were the foundation in place. If the men were out in the cold, hunting for food, or stationed post up to watch British troop movements, it was the women that were relaying all of the information and supplies and clothes and food and medicine and everything. The women were doing it, fellas. It was them. We relied on them heavily. And they did an incredible job, outstanding job. They also innovated a lot of incredible ideas where we were processing gunpowder and things like that. With different sewing skills and things like this. They made jobs safer. They made jobs better. Music has always been a huge part of human life. But it's an integral part of war. The war drums of the Roman cavalry, the police today and their Gestapo stormtroop, let me hit the shield at the same time while I do my jackboot stomp. This whole thing that we see now with the police, they're moving in unison, just douchebagging it up all the way down the damn street. And this is, they do this for intimidation. They do this, showing the strength of their numbers. The Spartans did this. The women, when they would show up to soldiers who were downtrodden and beaten down and injured and things like this, there are stories of, these are horrible, horrible little, makeshift hospitals and things to go to. You're not seeing anything good. There were women that would come in and sing Bible hymns, to soothe people to sleep with gunshot wounds. It was the soothing tone of a woman's voice. It wasn't going to be a male bravado coming in there. It was that comforting sound that sounds like your mom or your grandma or someone you love. It's the incredible importance. So, let me backtrack again. It's the Boston Tea Harbor. They throw it out. Well, it takes about 6 weeks for a boat to get here from England. So they sent word out to England, hey, these guys are throwing tea in the harbor, and they're not dealing with the taxes, this, that, and the other. And Mama Britain, she said, I've had enough. Mama England was like, send the troops. So they show up. Now, we need to stop right there, okay? The colonists have been here for 150 years, some of them, you know, generations of them here, that have been doing everything themselves. They set up town halls, you know, they governed themselves, they were doing everything themselves, and they didn't fucking need the Brits. And then the Brits, they got the war call to come to the colonies and quell any uprising, quell the rebellion. So when they show up, you got to figure these are people that have been doing it on their own since, you know, forever now. And the Brits just show up like, no, we own the joint. We're coming into your house. And then they shut down the town halls. They shut down all self-governance and said, no, we're in charge. You set up, you know, a little toy government. That was playing. You know, that's bullshit. That's not real. You're under the British Crown. And the colonists were like, you know what? The British Crown didn't help us when our families were sick. They didn't help us build our homes. They didn't help us with repairs in the winter. They haven't helped us with agriculture. They haven't helped, you know, anything. And they can go to hell in a handbasket because we're not dealing with this. So when they took away the people's right to self-governance, tell me if any of this starts to sound familiar. The people had had enough. Now, from that point, it took 3 years. 3 years of British oppression and shenanigans. You know, of them being here. And finally, the people were sick of it. Now, present day. How many of you feel as if not only that you may be being forced into something, or you feel as if you're being forced into something possibly, but do you believe your rights to self-governance are being taken away and have been taken away? And that's something you got to ask yourself, you know. That's something only you know. That's something that only you either believe or do not believe in. I can tell you there are many of us that know it to be fact. It's absolute fact. When Obama comes on the television and starts cussing out Fox News saying they need to report more of the truth and blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's deal in a little bit of reality, okay? The distraction that they want you to do, they want you to take part in there is if you can be divided by Fox News saying we are the only news channel that represents Republican ideals because we believe that the media is controlled by a liberal agenda. And then a liberal Democrat president gives us a hard time. We just feel like we're doing our job. You know, when everybody knows Fox News and all of them are all full of shit. You know, they haven't told the truth since, well, Fox's inception or MSNBC's inception. CNN's full of shit. All of them are state-run. It's state-run media. And we know that. We know it's socialist and communist. We get that. That's why we have alternative media, because we trust them, and we know the rest of you are full of shit. So we have... Oh, man. I forgot where I was going with that. The self-governance. Freedom of press is a large part of self-governance, you know. And we see where it's been stripped away. How much longer do you think the American people are willing to tolerate this? Non-representative government, non-representative media, and when your president comes on the television and that is as blatant as ours is to complain about the media, first of all, and people buy into the distraction of, well, Fox News is Republican and this, that, and the other. Listen, in the United States, it is a fundamental uniqueness of the United States that our president has nothing to do with the media. Nothing. You cannot have state-run media and have a capitalist democratic republic. You can't. State-run media is, by definition, by working definition, it's socialism. So, militia and anonymous and sovereigns and protesters and demonstrators and ralliers, why would the militia see fit to work with any of these, right? I mean, if you listen to mainstream, they'll tell you anonymous is a bunch of terrorists, right? But Tech Nine's telling you they're hacking for peace. And if you look them up, you find that they're trying to find child predators, and they gave the FBI a bunch of information, like a hard drive worth of information of a bunch of pedophiles, and was like, here, this is your job, you do it. They helped in the Steubenville case. They got that racist dude off the freaking radio. They've helped with whistleblowers. They've protected families, and they've revealed the information that everybody wants. So if you're counting Anonymous as a criminal, understand you are controlled opposition and nothing more. You've been too simple-minded. You're way easily controlled and guided. And for the folks that feel otherwise, we understand the need and the natural phenomenon that is known Anonymous. You were going to have that. In the 60s in the United States, 60s into the 70s, all of the civil rights leaders were killed off. You know, so you can't have a voice. You can't have that. They'll freaking kill the voice. Anonymous grew as an idea, bore out of that, understanding we are up against a juggernaut, and if it's just one of us, we're completely screwed. It has to be everybody, right? The militia also shares in that ideal. The militia doesn't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. They don't care if you're a man or a woman, and they don't care if you're black or white. They couldn't give a shit less. If you show up at the doorstep saying, I want my country back, and I want to join people that also want to get their country back here in America, you're gonna be welcomed amongst the ranks, because that's what the militia is. Americans concerned. Okay. Now, the history of the militia, a bunch of Confederate racists and all this other stuff. Who gives a shit? You guys need to stop living in the fucking past. I don't give a shit what anybody did. What is incredibly important is the right here and now. Who are you gonna be recorded as? What are you gonna be recorded as? How is history going to remember you? You know, because this militia gives no fucks about anything other than getting their country back. And if it can be done through peaceful means, that's what everybody wants. You got to figure, if it was a violent militia, they would have already shot a bunch of government officials and police and all kinds of shenanigans. But they're not that, because they are you and me. They're moms and dads. Just like Anonymous, just like sovereigns, just like protesters. Do not buy into the division. The reason a person chooses a militia is because that is where their aptitude is best served. That's why I'm not a member of a militia. I'll get everyone killed. You know what I mean? I'm too big of a doof. I will get all of us killed somehow. I'm not sure exactly how, but I will. So what I do is I work with the militia. You know, we help to publicize stories. We have probably, oh hell, I don't know. We have a lot of different militias, and we have a lot of different alternative media that works with them. So, but they understand that importance. They understand the importance that it is we, the people. They understand that it's all of us. And they understand now, building relationships with other people in other organizations with other names, and not listening to whatever in the hell the mainstream says. You know, they say that sovereigns, you know, these are the folks that blow buildings up. Well, where are the blown up buildings? I know a lot of sovereigns. I know a lot of constitutionalists. And if they're all supposed to be lunatics, why isn't there rubble everywhere in America? Because what you've been told is a bunch of bullshit. It is a bunch of lies meant to divide, meant to distract, and meant to keep us weak. Imagine this. If I was your enemy, I would want you divided. I would want you to think your militia was nothing but a bunch of racist beer drinkers, wife beaters, shit like that. When it's simply not true. They're computer programmers, they're salespeople, they're pizza delivery guys. That's who they are. They're us. They're Americans. It can't be stressed enough, you know? Nobody gives a shit about that anymore. We've all realized that there is a club and we're not in it. It doesn't matter. And they want us divided, calling each other racist names, being divided by sex, thinking that the militia, the sovereigns, and the patriots, and the protesters, and Anonymous are all against you when they're all fighting for you. They were never your enemy. Trust me, if they were, you'd know it. Blatantly. If Anonymous was your enemy, you'd know it. If the militia was your enemy, you'd know it. You know? If they were going to come at you in some kind of an aggressive manner, holy shit, you would know it. And so would your family and friends, and so would the news. It's not the case. They're all the friends and the family of the American people. Your militia is your last line of defense. That's it. That's all you got. That's it. If the police force is corrupt and hell-bent on shooting all of us, if the feds are controlled by the scariest of all special interest groups, if the United States Army can raid, along with the DOD, a private business in Ohio, who do you have? Who are you going to call? It's the militia. Hands down. Simple. You don't have anybody else. There is nobody else. You have your militia. It's time to get to know them. It's time to be them. It's time to understand preppers, survivalists, everybody's working together. And think about that. That's the kind of mistakes that our government has made. You know? You have fucked up when you get anonymous protesters, ralliers, demonstrators, militia, sovereigns, constitutionalists, people that are anti-Common Core, anti-Monsanto, anti-Federal Reserve, to all come together under one train of thought, under one umbrella of thinking. And before we go, two things. The militia has been involved in every single event I've ever attended. I swear to God, that's the case. Every single event that I've ever attended, whether it was a food drive, whether it was a rally, whether it was a protest, whether it was a demonstration, they were there. And here's the deal. I felt safer because of it. I felt safe because there were Americans around me that had loaded firearms to protect me from my police, from my government, from the enemies my government has made, ISIS, Kurdistan, Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, all these freaking guys that are on the other side of the planet and now wanting to come over here and kick my ass because of my government and the shit that they pull. You know? Hell yes, I want my militia there. Are you freaking kidding me? I have to have my militia there. I absolutely have to have that. That is the safest I have ever felt, and my wife told me the same thing last night. She said, you know, she was talking about one of the events we had gone to last year. She said, that's the safest I have ever felt. We were surrounded by people, responsible gun owners, that felt exactly the same way we did. If you want to feel that, join us. Join us in Mount Vernon on the 16th for Levi DeMond and his family. You know, militia's going to be up there. You know, join us in any of our July events, whether it's Yellow Springs, or I'm sorry, Xenia, or Pennsylvania, whether it's Lima, Ohio, because the militia is going to be at all of them. We bring them out every single time. Those police, they back the fuck off when they see that camo and rifles strapped to people's chests and backs. Then they see the anonymous masks. Then they see the mothers holding up signs. Then they see the young kids out there, entire families out there, together, because we're sick of it. That's what your militia is. That's why they join with those other voices. It's about giving others the dignity of their choices, letting them represent whatever it is they are, while we all work in tandem to get our country back. None of us, especially, now think about this, okay? Protesting is great. Rallying is great. All of these things. Without our militia, this revolution is not possible. Without guns on our side, look, whether you like that shit or not, without loaded firearms on our side, we will lose. We stand no chance to do anything other than to live under tyranny's boot. Period. End of story. Your police are obviously not coming to do it, but I still say you take pamphlets of different flyers and the Constitution, the organic Constitution, and send them to, and take them and hand them to the police station. Go to the sheriff's office. Go to the state highway patrol. Give all of them copies of the Constitution. Tell them you understand that the cops don't have to be trained on the Constitution, and you've been working with the militia. You let them know that there's a militia presence in their town. You let them know there's a militia presence all over this nation, that there's an incredible resurgence of patriots ready to hand them their ass just because they want to follow fucking orders. We're tired of all these goddamn traitors. We're sick and tired of the betrayal from ruling class government elected and appointed fucking Ivy League nitwits and these shabby douchebags with a badge. The only people we can trust is our militia. Hands down. Hands down. Somebody point evidence to the otherwise. I'll be willing to debate that with you. I have over a year's personal experience of rallying with militia, whether it's 3%, unregulated, irregulars, it doesn't matter. Minutemen, 345th Southern Brotherhood, people that work with the militia, like the Guardians for Society, the militia that walked down the street in the middle of Whitehall, Ohio, and shut it down and did it armed. All the way to an elderly woman's house who was a former police officer who was told she wasn't allowed to fly her American flag anymore. We had a militia ready to take turns and shifts to protect the flag in case the rental office or somebody else tried to take it. I'm not fucking playing. These Ohio militias are not fucking around. We understand our rights. We understand how to utilize our militia. Our militia is professional in the state of Ohio, and we have put forth, this militia has put forth a structure so that other states can emulate it, and they're willing to work with all of them. That's what your country is doing. That's the biggest part of this revolution. It won't happen without your militia. They are your last line of defense, and you have been lied to. You have been told a bunch of bullshit lies so that you're no longer safe. No longer believe those lies. I'm here to tell you as a blatant voice of opposition, diametrically opposed to all of that. I've seen it in my own experience, and I brought my own very young daughter out to the events because I knew we were going to be protected by passionate people. I wouldn't have done that as a father. I would have never taken my daughter out to an event. Other protesters and other demonstrators and other organizers have also done that. We're not the only ones. It's because our militia shows up. Period. That's the deal. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. I went over a couple minutes. I appreciate you guys being here. Tomorrow we're going to, hopefully I'll have an interview tomorrow with some militia members. I'm going to invite some people in, too, that I haven't been able to talk to yet. And we'll get some guys on here. These are folks that I know, folks that I've worked with. Some of them, I know their families. I know their kids. These are good people, and you're going to get to hear for yourself. It'll be no more, not so much me anymore. You won't have to deal with me. You can hear from these guys. You can hear what they have to say, and then you can judge for yourself. Discern for yourself. It doesn't matter what I say. It matters what you think. It matters what you believe. And, you know, I want you to see this, and I want you to hear these people, and then decide for yourself what you believe they are. Do you think they're a bunch of freaking terrorists? Do they represent themselves well? Are they well-spoken? Do they sound informed? Do they sound educated? Are they passionate? You know, I mean, you know, and decide all of that for yourself, man. So, oh, man, thank you guys. And share this out. I'm going to cut the stream here in a minute, and then as a YouTube video, you'll be able to share it out. And go love something. Just go love something, man. Go love your militia. You know what I mean? And I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same place, same bat time. And appreciate the hell out of you guys, man. Remember, next week is all on sovereigns and sovereignty. And, man, I'm looking forward to that one, too. Shane the Sovereign's been coming up with a Sovereigns for Dummies manual. And that was per my request, so... if anybody wants to reach out to a militia, if you're looking for membership and you're not sure how, you can reach out to me. I'll point you in the direction that you need to be in, and you know, we'll get you going from there. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the time, and we'll see you again tomorrow, guys. Go love something. Alright, one more time. I'm going to play this militia video for you guys.
Chocolate toast crunch. And cookies. And shuffles.